Thank you. The Whitman Bassow Environmental Award, which is sponsored by Paul Brandis of West Wing Reports, also honors a New Yorker reporter, Evan Osnos, for the fallout about the multiple meltdowns of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant in Japan. Evan won this same environmental award in 2006 for a story from China. Here tonight, direct from reporting in Burma, is Evan Osnos.
Thank you very much. You know, writing about the nuclear meltdown in Japan also meant, in a sense, writing about the role of the free press. And that's because when the tsunami hit the eastern shore of Japan, the Japanese government said that what had happened, that the damage to the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant was unimaginable. It was nothing that anybody could have expected or planned for or accounted for. But there were a lot of Japanese journalists who disagreed. And at enormous personal risk, they went off and started to cover this story, not only what was happening on the ground, but also going back and starting to uncover the kinds of mistakes that had contributed to the state of decay in that system that had allowed the country to be so vulnerable. And that was a risk of a different kind. It was a cultural risk in a sense, because they were challenging a lot of the things they'd been told. The role of the Japanese press in this story impressed me in particular because I live and write most of the time in China. And China at the moment is building more nuclear plants than the rest of the world combined. And in China, a nuclear disaster or a national disaster is generally a state secret. And if you write about it, you're putting yourself at enormous risk. I think a lot of us in this room look forward to a day when reporters in China might be able to write about an event like this and not worry about the consequences. Winning this award is an honor, but I think it's also a moment to recognize the extraordinary local journalists in places like Japan and China that have led the way on so many of the stories that have been honored here today. Certainly a work I've ever done. Thank you to the Overseas Press Club for the recognition, and to my colleagues at The New Yorker, David Remnick, Dorothy Wickenden, and John Bennett, who's here tonight. I want to thank them for the opportunities they've given me and the trust and the counsel along the way. To my wife, Sarah Beth, who's in Beijing, I want to say thank you for pretending that you thought it was a good idea, as I did, to go to Fukushima and embed for the summer. And last, to my father, Peter Osnos, who's here, you taught me what it means to be a writer at home in the world, and I thank you for it.